Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders master their subconscious habits for success, income goals and, above all, happiness. But success isn't just about mindset or strategy. It's about combining both and sealing the deal with a big dose of subconscious alignment, because our subconscious holds the true key to unlocking our potential. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hello and welcome back to Unblock Your Business. Hope things are going well in your world at the moment. I've got a little bit of building work going on in the background here, so I'm just really hoping that that's not going to come through on the audio. Right now it seems quiet, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed it's going to stay that way for us. So today's episode is all about how to stay motivated even when you're not seeing the results you really want in your business. And I think most of us have been there. Certainly at times I have. And I recently did a training in a friend's membership and this question came up. So how do you stop feeling despondent when people don't book your service or just don't respond to everything you're putting out there? And it took me right back to those times in my own business when I was just wondering if it was ever going to happen and when it was ever going to happen. It was so frustrating and not fun at all. So if that's you at the moment, deepest sympathies, I know exactly how that feels. And sometimes it just doesn't matter how much visualizing you do or how many times you're journaling or how much you're repeating those affirmations that you've been told you should be doing. If your brain is focused instead on the reality of your current situation, it can be incredibly hard to feel abundant and to feel as you know you should feel and to feel like it's all just waiting around the corner. Yet we know from neuroscience that what we put out there is what we attract. And if we're just putting out a whole load of nothing's happening and a load of I'm so frustrated, then unfortunately we're just going to keep on getting more and more of the same, more and more of the nothing happening. It's so unfair, isn't it? But it's amazing how just shifting your mindset in the right direction can really just flip a switch. So call it the universe, call it confirmation of what we perceive to be true, call it whatever you will. It just happened this week for a client that I've started working with. She had nothing for months and then a few quick mindset shifts and boom, all of a sudden this client materialized out of the blue for her. And I'm really pleased to say that she also went with the new pricing that we'd worked out together and she went with that really confidently. So I'm so chuffed for her. Now, I actually put a post up about pretty much this very thing in the Unblock Your Business Facebook group this week. So if you're not in there, do jump in because there's often useful little bits and pieces to pick up. And on that post, I was comparing the business journey, oddly enough, with running. And that's because I've just started running again after my injury, about 5-6 weeks ago, something like that. And at the moment, it is very much for me about plodding along slowly, just putting the miles in to build up the muscles and build up the stamina. But I would love to eventually be able to go out there and run 10 miles and go and do like the Great North Run or Great South Run. One of them is 10 miles, isn't it? One of those two. Tell me which it is. I don't know. But that's the plan. I'd love to be able to run that far. Now, in the world of business, I think sometimes it's a bit like we expect ourselves to be able to run that 10-mile race overnight. And to just like put on our training shoes for the first time, get out there and run that 10 miles. There is so much shiny crap out there about hitting your first 10K month when you've just launched your business. And you see all these miracle stories. And most of the time, it's just a load of rubbish put out by very clever marketers who want people to believe that that's the norm. And it's not. It isn't at all. So if like with running, if I expected myself to go out there and run that 10 miles right now, then I would just end up in a crumpled, sweaty heap and I would never, ever run ever again. And that's exactly how I see a lot of people feeling about their businesses too. Now, the real key to going the distance and getting to your goals is building things up slowly. And yes, there will likely be a long period of time where it feels like nothing's happening. And like the gains are just so small, it's barely worth it, and it's just this big slog. But if you follow the process, just like running, and if you keep bouncing back every time you have one of those knockbacks, then you will get there in the end. So how do you keep your focus on that process and make sure that you're just keeping going, even when your brain's just screaming at you, it's not happening? How do you do that? So the best thing that you can do is just to take your focus completely off the outcome as much as you can. I know, easier said than done. But just finding ways to try and make the process enjoyable instead. So can you treat it as a game? Perhaps? Can you approach it as if it were just a puzzle to solve? And doing that kind of brings this lightness to it. It just makes the whole thing seem so much less heavy and serious, because really building a business is just one big puzzle. It's kind of a game. I like to see entrepreneurship as a bit of a game. You're just trying things out. It's a bit like a massive game of snakes and ladders, isn't it, really? Can you think of it maybe as a challenge instead? If you do that, that way you can give yourself a little bit of credit for every little achievement, every little bit towards that challenge being complete, or every small challenge in itself, rather than just waiting for that big one to land. And that's so much better for keeping your flow of positive brain chemistry going, and for stopping that worry machine just taking over the whole show. It also really helps to draw your attention back to the good things that you've already achieved and everything that's already happened. Maybe testimonials you've got that show you're doing a wonderful job. Even those kinds of things can be really grounding. And maybe those good things aren't at the moment a client or a financial reward, but they are a step in the right direction. So it's all a step towards that dream business. For example, maybe you've gained some more subscribers. Maybe you did a really fantastic guest live that went down really well. Have you perhaps just got a bit more clarity on your message or on your ideal client? Those might not feel like big things, but they are all such important steps on that ladder, and they will get you to your goals if you just keep on climbing it. Now, the other thing to remember is that often things are happening in the background that you just can't see. And so many times now I've had people contact me out of the blue after just following me silently for ages. They've been kind of hanging out in the background and watching what I've been doing, and they've never engaged with my content. I've not even known they're there, but they've been watching. And little things like that will be happening behind the scenes in your business too. And eventually, if you just keep going, then they will come out of the woodwork. Those things will materialize. So often it's more a case that the wheels are already in motion and we just can't see them yet in our physical reality. They're just not appearing in our day-to-day world, but they are there even though we can't see them. So if we just keep believing and keep going with the process, then it absolutely will happen. So if you could bring it back to what you can do now, what's the next step that you can take to move you a little bit further up that ladder? That's going to be so powerful. So what's going to be the next thing that's just going to improve your race fitness a little bit further to get you nearer to that 10-mile race? Find out what that is. Do it the very best you can and give yourself credit every single step of the way, and you will find it so much easier to stay motivated and to not get dragged down into despair. So I hope that was helpful. I know that's what helped me through the tougher times at the start of my journey, was just really treating it lightly, treating it as a game, and just focusing on all the little wins and focusing on that process. Now, before I finish today, I've just got one little announcement to make about my membership. Now, I've got some very exciting things coming up in the membership over the next few months, and I'm not going to give those away right now. But suffice to say, there's some great new stuff coming in. And what I've decided to do is actually close the doors for now. I'm just going to close them at the end of September so that I can focus on implementing those little changes and creating things like new progress pathways so that we can really focus on business or mindset or whatever it is that people need to focus on. And we've got some epic new content coming in as well, which I'm really excited about. I've decided to focus on that and just really focus on the existing members and on making sure that everything behind the scenes is running really smoothly for them. So, as I say, closing the doors at the end of September. If you've been wondering whether it's right for you and you've not quite hit that sign up button yet, then now would be the time. You can still at the moment get yourself a 14-day trial absolutely free of charge, and you can jump in there and access all the fantastic resources in there, including things like the recent trainings we've done on money mindset, on perfect pricing. We've got one coming up very soon on nailing your sales as well, which is going to be really, really great. There are also things like guided meditation downloads. We've got regular group coaching sessions and Q&As, and you get to pick my brains and get support in your business anytime you choose. And of course, we've also got a wonderful community of women in there at the moment, heart-centered entrepreneurs and wellbeing professionals who are just waiting to welcome you, and they are so friendly and lovely. So if you're not quite sure whether it's right for you, then feel free to just drop me a message, and we can have a bit of a chat back and forth basically about whether the membership is the right thing for you at the moment, whether it's going to support you in your business as you need or not. And if not, then absolutely fine, I shall tell you. But if you want to take advantage of that 14-day free trial, then now is the time to jump in. As I say, end of September, the doors are closing, and I'm not quite sure exactly when they will be opening again. So it's the perfect time to do it. Pop in and join us and give us a try and see what you think. So you can find the access to the membership on my website, which is www.unblockyourbusiness.com. Just look in the tab at the top and it says membership, and click on there and it'll take you through, or check out the link in today's show notes. Can't wait to welcome you in, and I shall be back next week with some more exciting mindset shifts for you. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. I'm just thinking we've not had any building noise going on as far as I've noticed while I've been chatting away, so yay. All worked out well in the end. See you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to dive deeper, you can find me in my Facebook group Unblock Your Business, or at www.unblockyourbusiness.com.